Welcome to Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about streaming on the internets. My name is Crunky.
I'm Celiac.
We aim to bring you regular interviews with your favorite streamers and to find out more about the person behind the webcam, to give you more of an inside look into how they got started, what their goals are, and what keeps them coming back to stream. Today we're talking to CollegeOfCeliac. How you doing, Celiac?
I'm pretty good.
Hey man, thanks for taking the time to be on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Of course, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, if you guys want to find Celiac, you can go to twitch.tv/CollegeOfCeliac. CELIAC. Speaking of celiac, I guess that's a good place to start as any.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what celiac disease is for those who don't know, and help educate some of these people.
Okay, so for those who don't know, because I certainly didn't before I was diagnosed, celiac disease is an autoimmune response to the protein gluten. So gluten is a protein that is found in wheat, barley, and rye. And unfortunately, your body detects that as like a bacteria or something coming in to try and attack your system. So it tries to destroy that, and to prevent any absorption from happening of that foreign body, it will also attack your intestines. So specifically, in my case, it was the small intestine and the part that was called the duodenum. And that's an issue because the small intestine is usually used for mineral uptake and any absorption of basically anything that you eat. So I was like incredibly malnourished and dealing with a lot of issues associated with that.
Oh.
And then at 15 and a half, I was diagnosed, and I'm 20 now. So
it took them 15 years to figure it out, and you just had to live 15 years without absorbing the right nutrients in your small intestine?
Yeah.
Did you say small or large intestine?
It's the small intestine.
Small intestine, okay.
Small intestine is used in most absorption techniques, and the large intestine does some, but it's mostly water uptake.
Okay. So basically, do you know what kind of nutrients that you weren't getting?
Basically everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like I don't know if this is TMI, but I had very awkward stools and all that. Yeah. I was also like the kid, because I remember being in like elementary school and in third grade, and I would get really bad constipation, which is one of the symptoms if I have like an issue with a gluten reaction. And I was that kid who would always fart in class because that was the only time I got a reprieve from the pain.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So, was it like a light bulb flipping off when they figured it out? I mean,
it kind of was, because they're like, all right, hey, we did the endoscopy and the colonoscopy. The endoscopy showed in your duodenum that your villi are blunted, and the villi are essentially like little hairs that you have in your intestine. They increase the surface area to allow better absorption of nutrients and everything that you eat. They're like, hey, these are blunted and bent over and completely damaged. We're going to put you on a gluten-free diet for like a month. Then we're going to go back in and test it again and see if you're doing better. And after a month, I was feeling way better than I had ever in my life.
Like born again, I bet.
Oh, yeah. It was night and day. The only problem was I wasn't very accustomed to the new foods that I had to eat because they can taste awful. So
it's funny. My I guess stepmother, my dad's wife, is I don't know if she's celiac, but she cannot have gluten. She has an allergy to it.
Oh, gotcha.
And I know some people view that as like a fad, but it really does cause her issues. I don't think it's celiac disease. She has, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think she's got, I know she's type 1 diabetic, and she has Graves' disease and some other autoimmune disease. But I need to talk to her, obviously. It might be celiac and I didn't know. But
there are a lot of like different diseases that can give you issues with gluten.
Okay.
From what I've researched, I can't really name any off the top of my head. Where it gets a little messy and closer to the fad stuff can be some of the gluten intolerances, because a lot of those are self-diagnosed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They just figure out, hey, I don't feel well, I'll try this. Okay.
Which, like, that's fine. But what I always try to warn people about with the fad diet and all that is if you stop eating gluten, you stop producing the enzyme to digest it. And if you don't produce the enzyme to digest it, you will have very similar symptoms to someone with celiac disease because your body basically rejects it, and it causes indigestion, constipation, all that fun stuff.
So basically you create celiac for yourself.
I mean, in the sense that you can't digest gluten anymore, it's not an autoimmune condition in that case.
So it's not going to kill off your
it's not going to damage your intestine, but you still just can't process it.
So for those of you who have picked up on that, Celiac knows a lot about this. It's not just because of his personal experience. You're also going to school for this, right?
Yeah. So up until this year, I was pre-med trying to go on a pediatric neurology track. So trying to go to med school, all that. And now this year I am switching because unfortunately organic chemistry and physics didn't really click. I am going to be switching to dietary to hopefully specialize in gluten-free and helping out other people who get diagnosed and need some advice like I did.
Well, I got to believe that a lot of those classes you've already taken lead into that same degree, right?
Oh, yes. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Because you're, 2 years in now? A year and a half?
Yeah, I'm a second year.
Nice.
So after this, it'll be a little messy, but we'll hopefully be able to get back on track.
Even if you don't get on track, man, it's the only track you got, so you got to make the best of it. One thing that I was going to talk to you about when I think the first time you and I met, it was through I believe we talked about this earlier. You said it was through B-Shiv and or Wolf Trove.
I think one of them, possibly both of them, rated you.
Okay,
and I said hello. And then I was introduced to like the whole idea of the podcast and everything. And I was like, wow, that's cool.
What, me talking about my podcast on my stream? No way.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I say it like, you know what? I kind of go in spurts where I do it too much. And then I fall off and I don't say anything for like a week.
I mean, as someone trying to shamelessly plug, I appreciate your shameless plugs.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, that's why we do this. We didn't come to Twitch to not be social and not get out and put our word out there. But, you know, that reminds me of when I started on Twitch. It was to just be, social and have fun. I didn't really plan on doing a podcast. It kind of happened. I had the idea to do it. But what brought you? Did you start on Twitch or YouTube first?
So I started on YouTube.
Okay.
Originally, I started with a gaming channel called Turtle Piggins, which was an inside...
Wait. Turtle Piggins?
Yes, Turtle Piggins. It was an inside joke that my friend and I had, and I asked her, what should I name my YouTube channel? And she said, go with Turtle Piggins. Remember that really funny joke from Gmod that we had 2 years ago? And I'm like, okay. So I did that, and I tried to build that up as a brand. I think I hit something like 49 subs, and I could never break past 50.
Oh, wow.
And I just didn't have the time to edit for that anymore. And then there was a whole being professional talk that we had in school, and I'm like, oh cool, me cussing on the internet's around, I should probably delete that if I'm trying to go to med school. And I ended up deleting the whole channel, unfortunately, because I had some decent content there that I would have enjoyed to have shown off, but
yeah, you gotta worry about that public image if you're going to be going in profession. Oh man. And
then I started the College of Celiac channel when I was like, when I was diagnosed, I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to do any of this. And now that I'm in college, trying to budget gluten-free is really costly because gluten-free, they upcharge for absolutely everything.
Absolutely, they do.
So I was like, hey, I'm going to start this and I'm going to try to name it after exactly what I want it to be. I want it to be a college for those with celiac disease. So I'm like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do cooking tutorials, reviews of restaurants and products, and just try to help people out. So,
yeah, I know I'm jumping around a bit, but I remember when I first found your channel and followed you, I think it was the first or second time I watched you were cooking on stream. I'm like, oh my God, a cooking stream. And just watching that, you were cooking steak, I think.
Yeah, I was making filet mignon with my girlfriend for Valentine's Day.
I had steak that night because I watched your stream.
Oh man. Oh no, awesome. That's expensive.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't know if I've talked about it on stream before, but I'm pre-diabetic, so I'm on
you told me you're on keto.
Keto, yeah. Keto light kind of, just, basically low carb. So I do, yep. I'm a big protein guy, and I have steak usually every other week.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's probably not the best for me, but I do enjoy it.
Hey, it's steak though.
Exactly.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I don't have filet mignon every other week, that's for sure.
Oh gosh, no, that was... I'm the guy who goes to the bargain bin at the grocery store, like the reduced for markdown, and then I'll cook it the next day because it usually goes bad by the next day.
That is
like, oh, a $5 cut of beef. Yes, let me make something out of this.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because when I first started going down the rabbit hole of learning how to cook this way, the way that I do, it was like, I'm going to the store to get something to make today, so I don't care if it expires tomorrow. I'm literally going to use it today. So that's awesome. It's an awesome tip for you guys listening at home. But so you went to
tip.
Exactly. So you went to YouTube and you started your celiac. That was what I think I saw. I went doing research at 2018 or no, 2016 was the first time you posted, November. Yes,
I think so.
Okay,
so it's a little over a year old on that channel now.
And there'll be a link to his YouTube channel in here. You go watch his cooking stuff. It's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. I always put I'll do all the links to your Twitch channel, your Twitter, and your YouTube here, and anything else you want me to put in there. Just let me know.
All right. Yeah, we'll do. Thank you. But yes, so I started that, and I was like, man, I really miss gaming. So this year, it was my New Year's resolution. I said I'm going to use my Instagram, Twitter, and I'm going to start a Twitch, and I want to get affiliate as soon as possible. So I started streaming. I think I jumped the gun. I started streaming December 29th instead of January. I was like, I'm going to hold off. And then I'm like, no, I just can't. So I set up all the Streamlabs, all that fun stuff, and I started streaming. I did have I think I started with 7 followers because a few of my friends had joined me on stream when I tried to stream FTL for an FTL race that we were having.
Okay.
But unfortunately back then my internet was so bad I got maybe 2 frames a second.
Oh man.
So I started with that, and then thanks to a lot of you guys in the community, I hit affiliate a month later.
Yeah, nice.
Which was ridiculous. So,
and that was 2018?
Yeah, that was this year.
Okay. All right, nice. That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm like, what? How did this happen?
Yeah, when I started streaming, there wasn't an affiliate thing. It was just partnered or nothing. And so I really didn't have any dreams of trying to get partnered. I did this more of a hobby, and then the affiliate thing came out, and I think it was about a couple weeks after that. I just, because I was rolling along, I had enough to hit that, and it's a game changer really when you hit affiliate.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm like, I can generate income now. And then I told my parents, and they're like, "What? You made $30 this month? How?"
Exactly.
Playing video games on the internet, and I'm like, yes.
I'm assuming you've got a payday from them so far, right?
I have not cashed out yet.
It has to roll up for a bit, right?
Yeah, I think it has to hit $100 threshold, and I've only been doing it for I got affiliated February 1st.
Okay, so yeah, you'll get there.
I've only had it for a month, and I think it's every 2 months that they pay out too.
And it's. I know it sounds really like an asshole thing for me to say, but I forget about it because I don't really do it for that reason. And I got a payday a week ago.
Oh, nice.
And it was like all of a sudden I got an email. I'm like, what? Oh yeah. That rolls up because I just don't think about it. And
well, I mean, you have a career and everything, so
yeah. I mean, I would stream Twitch so much they'd have to bust down a wall in my house to get me out of it.
Dang.
But yeah, if I didn't have other things going on, I would play too many video games probably. I have a real addictive personality when it comes to gaming. I don't play MMOs anymore because it sucks my life away.
Oh gosh, I have so many hours in MMOs. It's not even funny.
But when I got that paycheck from Twitch, my wife's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I don't know. I said I got to think of. I always said I'm going to sync it back into the channel. So and I had just bought a MIDI keyboard for creative streams. Ooh. And I'm like, well, that's already paid for. I paid for that with my last one. So what am I going to do with this one? And I bought the Stream Deck, that Elgato Stream Deck. Have you seen? I
have been looking at those. Those look amazing.
So this is not a paid advertisement for Elgato Stream Deck. Because I was against it. I was like, no, that's all that is like $150 for 15 buttons. No, I don't need that. I could probably get something. I could probably use my MIDI keyboard to do something with the right software. But I'll go ahead and say free advertisement for them. I absolutely love the thing. It is a game changer. I recommend it if you're looking for something to kind of make your channel stand out. Obviously, if the more people get it, the less you're going to stand out. But I had a couple of people that you may know, General Chaos, and Chichen Law. Well, it's just Chichen now. He dropped the LOL off his name.
I still need to watch Chichen. I haven't really been able to catch any of his streams.
Yeah, well, I watch his stream every day. He's a good dude. He's like he's the I don't know. He's a generation behind me, maybe 5 years.
Gotcha.
But I relate to him on a level that some of the younger guys I just don't. I don't understand some of the references because my pop culture is old. But those two both really recommended it, and man, I'm so glad I got it.
I've been looking at that, and then I know that there's something that would allow me to convert my mirrorless camera to a webcam, essentially.
Okay.
And when I move into my studio apartment, I want to try to set up like my computer right next to the kitchen so I can do like full-fledged kitchen streams.
Yeah.
So if I can get that would be really nice.
How do you record your kitchen streams right now?
Currently, the one that I did was on my Note 8.
Okay.
Which is a little messy because that's over Wi-Fi and can drop frames pretty quickly.
Yeah, I've streamed a couple of times from the phone. And which app do you use, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I was just using Twitch's like integrated. Here's if you go to like the chat option on mobile on your, so like you click on your channel and then you go to the little like post and update. There's a little camera button and it will automatically set it up as an IRL stream for you.
Oh,
and then you can stream directly through the Twitch app.
Is that new with the new update that they did last year?
I think so because I've not seen that there before, but I think that came around when they introduced the IRL section.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow, I learn something new every day, I guess. I did a stint. There was a guy that I know called me up last summer, and he, he's a little bit older than me. One of his lifelong dreams was to perform his own original music at a venue. I lived close to Indianapolis, and he wanted to perform at a venue downtown Indianapolis, and asked me to fill in because he needed musicians to do it. So I went to like 2 practices, and we went downtown and did it. And I live streamed it because I was telling some people about it. They're like, "You should totally live stream that."
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was neat. I had to use some chintzy app off the store because it was before, I didn't realize that you could. Live stream.
This was like before IRL time, I assume.
I think it was, and it like streamed sideways, and I gave it to my dad to because I had to go play guitar, so I gave him I gave him the phone. And he turned it sideways, thinking it was the right thing, and but it was we ended up figuring it out eventually.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the IRL thing has its good and its bad because I guess now TwitchCon is even worse than before with all the IRL streams that happen.
Yeah, everybody that goes is running around with a camera and
yeah.
You want to be on my stream? And everyone's like, no, I'm doing my own thing. Have you been to TwitchCon?
I have not. I'm very much a broke college boy. I can't afford anything, really.
Let alone flying out to the West Coast for practically nothing.
I say that, but we might actually be visiting California for a large chunk of June. Granted, that's going to be with my family.
Yeah.
So they'll hopefully cover most of the costs. But I'm hoping to do a lot more like IRL streams out there because I won't really have access to my computer. So I'm going to try and do like restaurant reviews live or something. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to go, but I know I haven't been to the West Coast in years because we used to live there and now we're East Coast. But it's going to be really nice to go back, explore all the gluten-free restaurants, especially down in California. So
an idea I had while watching your YouTube channel and your live streams was you should go to like, if you live close to Cincinnati, you should like take a day and go to all of like the chains and just do a quick, this is what it's like if you have celiac disease. Here's the menu. Here's what I can and can't have. Here's the problems I have to deal with when you go to a sit down restaurant and how I'm sure you've run into this thing where the person doesn't really know what's in the food and you got to
what is gluten?
Yeah,
that's usually when you get up and leave.
Exactly. But you could do. I mean, you could go to like. As an extreme example, what's it like for you to stop at McDonald's for lunch when you're out of time? Is it something?
I can't.
Exactly. There's nothing at McDonald's that's not loaded.
I have actually been considering this as a series, honestly. I was going to call it Risky Reviews. And it was going to be like various chains that I know have quote unquote gluten-free offerings, but are maybe not as safe. So like Taco Bell will occasionally put out their double XL steak nachos. And those are gluten-free. they're just not always the safest thing. So I was like, that was going to be my flagship review. But they haven't put out the double XL steak nachos as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
Again,
but Taco Bell's that one that
they get rid of the only menu item I can eat. And I'm like, why? You're so cheap. Every other college student can go out and get like a Crunchwrap Supreme for like $3. And here I am. I have to buy like my own beef to create my own Taco Bell.
I've actually, I can't go there either for the keto diet.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Because it's so many carbs.
And the only way there's a bowl that they can make, but you gotta go back there and hold their hand and say, okay, here's what you do. Cause
they'll give me diarrhea.
Yeah. They don't care. I mean, it's not that they should care, but you're just the 4,000th person they've made a burrito for that day. They don't, they don't understand that. Just take the beans, man. I'm like, I can't have the beans. Like one time I went to a Mexican restaurant. This was maybe a year or two into my diet. I've been on it for about 5 years now. And, the Mexican restaurant, I said, no beans and rice. And they bring it out and there were beans on my plate. So
Ooh.
I scraped it away. It's fine. I'll eat around it. I scraped it away from my food, but I ate a little bit of it, just enough to where I was like in pain.
I have been there.
Yeah, I listen to me complaining to someone with celiac disease about, no man, I had the worst gastrointestinal pain ever.
Because like I have been there, so I completely relate. You're definitely not alone.
It was new. I had never had pain like that before in my life. I was like, oh my God. I ended up like going to the CVS at midnight to get gas X and all kinds of stuff.
I think the worst one I had was I ordered Domino's, which is pretty risky because they're not exactly the best ever.
Another risky review.
Yeah, that would definitely be one for risky review. And they sent me the wrong sauce.
Oh.
So I ordered the white garlic parmesan, which is gluten-free, but they put Alfredo on it, which is not, because they used wheat to thicken it.
And you can't tell by looking at it, right? It looks similar. You can't tell
by looking at it, but you can tell by tasting it. I took a bite, tasted the difference, spat it out immediately, looked at the receipt, said, oh, cool, so that's not a thing. I didn't even swallow, like, the entire bite. I might have swallowed maybe a little bit that just got caught in saliva, and I ended up swallowing that saliva, but I rinsed out my mouth and everything. 2 hours later, I was on the ground in pain with abdominal cramping. I ended up having really awkward stools, and I missed, I want to say, half a week's worth of classes because of the pain that continued on for like the next week, because it was just intestinal swelling.
Okay, I take all the complaining I did about the few hours of discomfort I had a minute ago. Oh my God.
No,
half
you're
a
good.
Week?
I mean, that is the extreme example of what has happened to me.
Oh my God.
Most of them are like maybe a couple hours of discomfort like you've had. And
so
then some issues the next morning.
Before you went to college, when you were in regular, junior high school, did you miss a lot of time because of it? Before you were diagnosed?
I kind of had a weird high school.
Yeah.
I ended up having a concussion the summer before 8th grade, which was, I think, 2013 for me.
Okay.
That ended up causing post-concussive disorder, which is essentially where you're genetically predisposed to develop additional issues after a traumatic brain injury.
Okay. Which
led to migraines for 6 months daily with weekly ER visits. And then on top of that, I was inpatient for a treatment to try to help the migraines. I also have 2 years of memory loss, so thankfully I don't really remember that time all that well.
Oh my God.
But it was that's where my love of neurology came from, was that big debacle that we had, because that completely changed my life.
I would imagine losing 2 years would be a pretty traumatic experience too.
It was very much a mess, but we finally got everything under control. My head's like back to normal and all that. Well, for the most part.
As normal as it ever was.
As normal as it ever was. I do believe that the concussion may have caused a slightly different pathway to open up. So I started exhibiting more like creative tendencies with like the video editing and all that.
Oh, okay.
And my mathematical ability tanked. So I'm kind of thinking like neuroplasticity caused a certain pathway to open up with different neurons firing, and some of them firing a lot less.
And for you non-doctors at home, what does that mean?
Neuroplasticity is basically the brain's ability to reroute signals in case one of their signals becomes damaged.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. We didn't all just get done reading a brain textbook.
I mean, I've lived all this, unfortunately.
Yeah, you had to become familiar out of necessity, obviously.
Out of necessity. So that caused me, that and a hole in my lung coming back from Disney.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm a mess.
Can we put a bell on you or like wrap you up in bubble tape or something? We
have had a lot of jokes about putting me in a bubble.
Oh my gosh.
My goodness. So yeah, what happened was I got really sick at Disney on our way back, like Disney World, and I ended up coughing so much for like the next 2 months that it created a hole in my lung. And that also helped bring back my migraines, because at that point we thought I was doing better with migraines.
Yeah.
That resulted in the school threatening Fs and all kinds of bad grades, and I ended up having to withdraw from traditional high school. I dropped out and went to online high school. It was called ECOT, which was the Electronic Classroom of Tomorrow, because that is an option here in Ohio. So I was able to work from home, and then in order to compensate for the lack of honors classes and AP classes, because they really don't offer those at ECOT, I had to take full-time college. So I did community college full-time and tried to minimize how many high school courses I did.
Okay.
And I ended up graduating with my associate's degree, thankfully.
Nice.
Which made up for the lack of honors and all that. So
how old were you at this time?
When I graduated?
Yeah.
I think I was 18 still at that point.
Okay. That's really impressive to graduate with your associates at 18.
Thank you. I didn't really have many other choices, unfortunately. But so I did miss a few class times, but generally I'm able to like prevent myself from having gluten issues. It just depends on some of the restaurants aren't as careful.
Yeah.
So that was a long-winded story to explain what could have been said in essentially a sentence.
Hey, man, that's why we're doing a podcast.
That's
Talk
true.
about it. Talk it out. That's fine.
That's true.
So you graduate from high school, you get your associates, you start going to you're going to
University of Cincinnati.
University of Cincinnati, and how do you find time with all of this to go on YouTube or go on Twitch?
I have forced myself to relax.
Okay.
My relaxation time, so like anything that I basically game with now is Twitch. That is my relaxation time. I'm lucky in the sense that I know a lot of people who stream tend to like lose energy from it. I tend to gain quite a bit of energy from it. I'm not quite as extroverted as General Chaos, but
well, there aren't many.
Yeah.
that are.
But it does help relax me, and I really enjoy interacting with the community and all that. So that's really, I have like set aside time so that I can do that and force myself to relax. Because prior, it's really easy when you're in school, especially for like these majors, to just work and work until you have absolutely no time for yourself, and you have just essentially become a husk who studies at the library from dusk till dawn.
Well, I think it's interesting because in watching your streams, I've noticed that you, at least this year, and I've only known you for a few months, but you seem to graduate toward games that are a little bit more strategic. I've seen you play like Planet Coaster and XCOM, and is that your preferred genre?
Simulation strategy and time management is definitely where I feel most comfortable.
Gotcha.
I started with Age of Empires 2 when I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My dad had it on, I want to say it was like Windows XP and our old desktop that we used to have. I think I took it apart recently. It had like 8 megabits of RAM.
Well, that's not bad for Windows 95.
Yeah, for like something that came out in 2000, that wasn't bad. Just looking at it now, I'm like, man, how far have we come in even just 10 years?
Buddy, let me tell you, I've been building computers since like the early 90s. I know all about it.
I only just started building computers. I think I've built 2 at this point.
Oh, man, I built 2 this year.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. I started building computers in the early 90s with hand-me-down parts. And the computers were much older than that because they were like, my first computer was you've heard of 286, 386 or 486 computers from back in the day? I
think so. I know my mom had one of the original IBMs because her dad worked for them.
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know if it's an original IBM, like 70s. It's probably worth some money if she still has it.
I think she's trying to donate it to a museum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You should tell her to sell it and give you the cash. Or just tell her you'll donate it, and then you'll donate it to your bank account.
Oh man!
But I built my first computer out of parts that were given to me by a friend of mine's grandmother. She worked at a bank, and the bank they were swapping out their black and white monitor that ran just DOS, and they literally were just throwing them away. So she brought one home thinking her grandson would want it, and he didn't want anything to do with it. But we were out playing basketball, and she's like, well, I'm just going to throw this away. And I go, well, I'll take it. And then
that's awesome.
Yeah. I started getting on bulletin board systems, which were numbers you could call in big cities that were before the internet was around. We could dial in on your modem and it was like the web before it was worldwide. It was just these little clusters everywhere. And there were like text-based games you could play there. And that's where I got my love of gaming for online gaming, was that, because it was the first game I'd ever played where, oh my God, the people I'm playing with are real people on the other end. And that, to my, 15, 12-year-old mind, that blew my mind, so.
Wow, that's actually really impressive.
It's not impressive because it was just what was available at the time.
Well, yeah, but I feel like that was kind of almost ahead of its time in a sense.
Yeah, it was. There weren't a whole lot of people doing it, and most of them were the adults who were doing it were hobbyists, and the kids who were doing it were just, like me. I was just like, oh, this is so cool. Computers are awesome,
Yeah. I don't know. I started with Age of Empires, and then my parents found out it was rated T for teen.
Oh no!
And they're like, yeah, you can't play that now.
Really?
So
it's just historical. It's historical violence.
They said it's rated T for teen. You can't play that now. So for the next 2 to 3 years, I was waiting patiently to be able to play it. And then they looked back at it when I raised the question, and I saw Age of Empires 3 had released. And I'm like, hey, can I buy this? And can I play the original? And they're like, okay, fine. So for 3 years, I waited just to play a strategy game. I got the DS version too, which was awful. But that was all my friends and I did, was we would play, well, one friend in specific. We would bring our laptops over, and we would play Age of Empires 2 and 3 against each other for hours and hours on end. A lot of kids had COD. We had Age of Empires.
Yeah, Age of Empires is great. I played the heck out of that, and that's early 2000s, right?
I believe Age of Empires 2 released in 97, which was actually the year I was born.
Okay.
And then I
think you're making me feel really old right now.
I'm sorry. I think Age of Empires 3 came out in 2004 or 2005.
Yeah. Oh, the third one. Yeah, I remember the third one. I never played 3 though.
Okay, so when I was playing 3, we were studying Revolutionary War and all the explorers and everything. And as a kid, I was obsessed with that. Yeah. Age of Empires 3 was basically exactly that. You discover a new world and you're trying to colonize it. Yeah. So for us, it wasn't so much about the game mechanics. It was more about the aesthetics because we sucked at the game. So I was always jealous too because his computer was better than mine. And I didn't realize what this meant until way later in life. But he was able to shoot cannons at things and knock portions of buildings off and they would come tumbling down and crashing. It was because his computer had a graphics card and mine did not.
You're like, wait, why can't my graphics?
Why can't my computer do this? And I tried messing with some of the settings and I'm like, and I just could never figure it out. And now I went back because I bought the game on Steam. I'm like, I can do this now. And then I fired a cannon at a building, and it was one of the most satisfying things in my life.
I've waited my whole life for this. That building's coming down, damn it.
I'm shooting the top off of your town center.
Didn't they just release a new, a retro version of it or a remaster?
They did. I think it was called Age of Empires Definitive Edition. It was the original, the first Age of Empires they redid. They didn't put it on Steam. That was stupid of them. I think you have to go through Windows Store to get it, which I refuse to do. Yeah. And supposedly Age of Empires 2 HD is still better.
I bet it is. Because the first one was I think they might all be, except for maybe 3, sprite-based, right? They're just isometric sprites. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the old Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2.
Oh, gosh, those are good games.
Yeah, they were. Those were amazing.
Roller Coaster Tycoon was the first PC game I ever purchased for $5 at a yard sale with all the DLCs.
Yeah, that game...
Or expansion packs, sorry.
I was a young adult playing it back in my late 40s. When that game was new, I played that for I want to say hundreds of hours.
Didn't it come in a cereal box?
I think after it had been out a while, it was a prize in a cereal box at one point. But I bought it on the shelf at a game store.
Wow.
If you may not remember, or you may not have ever known, but PC games used to come in these great big boxes to maximize shelf space.
I had Age of Empires 3. I bought at Walmart in one of those great big boxes, and it came with like 7 discs. And I'm like, why? And then my mom would not allow me to install the expansion pack until I had done enough in the base game. She's like, that should expand your time, so you're going to wait on that. And then I ended up losing the expansion pack by the time I was ready to install it in her mind.
Oh, man. Well, it's going to take up too much space in the computer with all those CDs.
I think that was also part of the reasoning. But the laptop we were playing on got used so much for games that it ended up frying itself because it was a Toshiba and I couldn't handle how much it was being used.
Toshiba. I actually had a work laptop that was Toshiba for a while. I think it was trash.
Yeah, Toshiba's, no offense, Toshiba, but...
but they're not making gaming laptops.
Work on your products.
No offense, but your products are terrible. Toshiba, if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, please reach out to me.
Yes. We can be found at, please send me free SSDs. Thanks.
And we'll totally edit this part out. Not really. So you like to play some strategy games. I saw
yes.
You played, did you play the original XCOM or XCOM 2? I saw you streaming.
I played XCOM. So I got the original, are we talking the original, like 1990s, or are we talking the original XCOM War for whatever? I'm
just going to guess that since you were born the year after I graduated high school, that you are talking about XCOM
yes, I'm
what
talking
is it? Unknown,
enemy
threat
unknown.
Enemy unknown, that's what it's called.
I played through the base game originally. I got that for free from the golden joysticks.
Nice.
And then I was like, all right, it's time to invest in the DLC. So I did that. I have 92 hours.
Wow.
In that. And I still have to play through XCOM 2, which I only have 23 hours in. I bought the DLC for that too. So far, it's pretty good. I just don't really have the time that I used to.
Exactly. I that DLC went on Steam sale for XCOM 2.
Yep.
And I've heard nothing but positive things. I'm like, I'm just going to pick that up, and it'll force me to sit down and play it. And then I thought, wait, I got 3 games in the hopper I have not even turned on yet. I got to wait.
I have so much on my backlog.
Oh,
I really should not have played Breath of the Wild twice through.
I was talking to Dee this morning about doing this podcast. She goes, make sure you ask him about Breath of the Wild, because she's in the middle of it. She said that you played it on master mode all the way through.
I did. I played normal mode, and I got 100% shrine completion on that.
Wow.
I think I might do the Trial of the Sword on that as well, because trying to do that on master mode for the first one is next to impossible.
What is Trial of the Sword?
That's where you place the... spoilers ahead. That's where you place the Master Sword into the original pedestal you got it from.
Yeah.
And you go through, you have no gear. It is one shot. You have to essentially go through, I think it's 10 or 15 levels of enemies.
Oh,
and
okay.
So it's basically the beginning of the game just on hard mode. And imagine that on ultra hard mode with master mode, where enemies regenerate and no red spawn. The lowest that can spawn is the blue.
Oh my gosh.
So you're trying to beat up...
Those colors indicate the difficulty of the enemies,
yes.
right? Yeah.
So it's red, blue, black, and then silver.
Wow.
And if you're trying to beat up blue bokoblins with a tree branch that regenerate health... and your tree branch breaks, and you have to play defensive, you have to go in with attack up, 3-time attack up for 30 minutes, which requires dragon scales to be able to create that dish. It's incredibly messy.
It sounds like an ultimate challenge mode, or a no-hit run in Dark Souls or something like that.
It is, and I suck at Dark Souls, so I don't know what made me think I could handle that, but I'm gonna do it, dang it. I did also... I don't know. Have you played the new DLC?
I've not. I've bought it on day one. I've not turned it on.
Oh, I should probably not spoil this then.
No, it's all right. That's fine. That's fine.
Again, spoilers ahead. You have to re-enter the Divine Beasts.
Okay.
And you fight as essentially the champion who was fighting the Water Blight, Thunder Blight, all those Ganons.
Yeah.
So they prescribe what gear you get. So you are running through with a limited amount of gear. back through the Divine Beasts. They have also upped the difficulty of the Divine Beasts and given all the blights different attacks.
Okay.
So you have to learn all the attacks again, and that can be pretty difficult when you have 2 swords and every blight has moves that make them invulnerable, and during those invulnerable moves, they regenerate health.
So you got to switch swords on the fly.
You have to switch. You have, like, the one that I had trouble with was Thunderblight Ganon.
Yeah.
You have, I think it was a 2-handed sword and a sword and a shield, and that's it.
Whoa.
And those break really easily when you're fighting against an enemy that can regenerate that quickly.
Yeah, because you only get so many swings, right?
Yeah, I think it took me an hour to finally get the timing down on that. Because you have to use everything pretty much perfectly to beat him.
You know, it's fascinating to me that you have the patience and get the enjoyment out of that version, that mode. Obviously, to play through it on hard mode, but you said you suck at Dark Souls. Do you not like the game, or you get frustrated by it?
I haven't really been able to get into it like some people have.
Yeah.
I've definitely tried, and I can see where the appeal is, but for me, just it feels kind of janky.
Crosses that line from challenging and fun to tedious.
Exactly.
Oh, like,
I've heard Dark Souls 3 is really good, and I meant to pick that up for Humble Bundle Monthly, but unfortunately finances have been kind of messy recently.
Sure.
I've heard that kind of fixes the issues and the complaints that I've had with some of what Dark Souls presents, the original.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, maybe if I pick that up, I can get into it. But unfortunately, I was not able to pick that up.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm. If you've listened to this podcast before, I'm not going to go off on a big tangent about it. But I'm a big fan.
I know,
but I also was enough of a fan, and I was luckily warned. Okay, if you're going to play it on PC, you're going to need this mod because to fix the frame rate. You're going to need this mod to. And did you try to play it with mouse and keyboard?
I've been playing it with an Xbox controller, but on PC, and I've noticed some jank going on.
There's it's locked at 30 frames, but
that explains a lot.
Yeah, but there's a mod called, and I'm not recommending that you go play it. I mean, there's plenty of better things to do. Like
it is on my backlog, honestly.
But if you ever want to know, it's DS Fix, and there's one called PvP Watchdog or something like that you definitely want to have to keep hackers away from you. But the nice thing is the remaster version comes out in May.
Yeah, I saw that. If I can afford to get it, I will be getting that on the Switch.
Yeah, the Switch version is locked at 30 frames, I've read.
Honestly, I'm okay with that on my Switch because that's portable, and not so okay with that on my PC.
I hear it. I've probably mentioned this before on the podcast. I don't remember, but I'm blind in one eye, so frame.
Oh, really?
Not like 100% black.
I think you have mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have like basically unusable vision in one eye, and in 30 like frame. I'm real sensitive to frame rate. I can tell the difference between 60 and 100 frames per second, and most people are like, "No, you can't." I'm like,
wow,
I can. And
well, yeah, the brain can detect up to I think it was 120, possibly higher.
And then. If I have like 30, literally makes me nauseous in a first-person shooter.
Really?
Yeah, it's really bad. I used to not notice it until technology got so good, and probably my vision got worse because my good eye, I need glasses to wear or contacts in to be able to see. But
I mean, I've been wearing glasses and contacts since I was in second grade, so
it's old hat to you.
Not contacts, but yeah.
Yeah, those I literally got contacts for the first time last year, and man.
Isn't it a world of difference?
It's a world of difference, and it's like it took me maybe a week to get comfortable with putting them in and out, and like it's still sometimes it'll like one day it's like nope, it's not going in today. Sorry. 20 minutes of fighting with it.
After years of doing it, I will still have days where I'm just like I'm too lazy to do contacts. Let's do glasses.
Exactly. I can spend 20 minutes getting my eyes wet and putting these things in there, or I can just throw these on.
I have found dailies in contacts have helped me out quite a bit. Because it's essentially a fresh pair each day, so you don't get that like slight burning sensation as your contacts age.
Exactly. Yeah, I have that as well.
Gotcha.
You could. Well, no, I don't have dailies. I have the ones you wear for like a week.
Yeah, I did those. Never again.
Never again. Nice. So you like to play some action games? It sounds like other than
yes. I am currently trying to play through Doom on the Switch. because I picked that up so it'd be portable. If you don't like 30 frames, don't recommend it. It is very noticeably 30 frames.
Yeah, I have Doom on PC, and I didn't finish it because who has time to finish games these days, apparently. But I loved it. I mean, I don't know why I stopped playing. I think I got lost on a level, and I was like, well, I'll pick this up next time. And it's like every time I go to play it, I'm like, oh, wait, I'm lost. Now I'll play something else.
I kind of had that when I first started it, and now that I've like gotten back on track, I'm kind of getting through some more of the story stuff, and I'm like, whoa, this is actually a really decent shooter. I have micro missiles on my SMG. Okay.
It's one of those rare instances where a game was in development hell for a while. They decided to reboot it, and they have a new lead designer. I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. It's going to be some focus grouped nonsense. But man, they struck oil with that formula.
They really did. Because I'm usually not a first-person shooter guy. I think the only first-person shooter I have been able to get into was Titanfall 2.
Oh my God. I love that game.
It's so underrated.
It is. Do you have it on PC?
I do.
We ought to play it on stream sometime.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm completely down. Especially because I think the computer that I upgraded can run it now on stream, hopefully.
I try to talk to my friends, and they're like, it just looks too much like this and too much like that. I'm like,
no.
It's the most like...
it's the most innovative shooter I've ever seen.
Exactly, and it has the best like moving mechanics when you're outside, and then when you're not doing,
like really affect how well you play.
Exactly, the difference, the skill level difference in how you maneuver around the level is the difference in who wins, not who shoots the best all the time.
I had to switch to a shotgun because I was always the guy who was running and gunning. Yep, and like the range is nice and all, but when I can get, I got so good at moving, I could get up right behind someone and just blast them. And now trying to get back into it, I'm like, that's not here anymore.
And what blows me away is that the best part of the game isn't the giant robots portion, and that's awesome too. But that's what people say, like, giant robots. I'm like, that's there, but it's literally like the weakest part of the game. Like, all the moving around and there's game modes where you can play.
You lose mobility when you switch into a Titan.
Yeah, it becomes more strategic then.
It's more of it's like, how can I take out this pilot before he can take out my battery?
Exactly, because he'll just jump on you and pull your battery out while you're walking around in your robot.
I think my current loadout, I have max electric smoke.
Oh my God!
Because
electric
I'm
smoke
so bad
for the everyone who doesn't play this game, because nobody plays it. Is it basically debilitates the giant walking robots, right?
It kills pilots too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It kills mounted pilots. So you basically put out a smoke cloud, and then it electrifies it, and any pilot on your back is incinerated in I think 3 to 4 seconds.
Yeah, pilots being the other players.
Yes.
One of the things you can do if there's a giant robot mech enemy walking around, you can, you have a grappling hook and you can slide and you're really fast. You can run up to the robot, shoot your grappling hook onto him, pull yourself up onto him, and pull his battery out and disable his Titan, making him eject. If you, I think most of them have 1 or 2 batteries or 3.
I think it generates a new battery each time one is taken.
Okay.
So multiple pilots can steal. I'm not sure if that's the case, because batteries also regenerate health. So
nice.
I feel like it would be a little OP if you could just have 3 people, one after another, take a Titan's batteries and replenish their own team.
Exactly.
That would be quite the strategy.
So last Christmas or Christmas before last, I don't remember when.
Yeah. I know. It released in between Battlefield 1 and whatever that COD was that year.
I have my conspiracy theories about that EA released it as negotiation, because they recently have
purchased a studio.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to force them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they didn't like their contract or something. That's my conspiracy theory.
You've been too creative with your games.
Well, it's EA we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I like some of their games, but I'm not a big fan of some of their business practices.
Their business practices are abysmal.
Yeah, it's really good for their investors, but it's really bad for the
consumer,
the consumers, the developers that work for them.
Oh yeah,
the IPs that they manage. I don't know. I don't want to rail on it too much. But
yeah, we've already trashed Toshiba.
Exactly. We don't need big Toshiba and big EA coming after us. They got the money to make us disappear, man.
Oh, no. EA Toshiba, we didn't mean it.
And we told them where we lived.
Oh, no, I did.
But yeah, Titanfall 2 was, I got it as part of a bundle. I bought a 4K TV for the first time.
Oh.
And last Christmas. or right before last Christmas, and friend of mine works at Best Buy, is actually a store manager there, and he said, "Hey, we had this return. The guy bought a bundle deal. It was after Christmas. He goes, he bought a bundle deal for Christmas and returned it. It's a TV, comes with an Xbox One. It's all open box." He goes, I had told him I'd been looking for a 4K TV, so he gave it to me for cost.
Whoa.
Because they can't sell, open boxes quickly. And so I got the Xbox One and the 4K TV together. So for the 3 months I owned an Xbox One, I tried a couple of games, and that one was on sale. I'm like, I'll try. It was, they discounted it quickly because it sold so poorly.
Which is a shame, because it was one of the few games I bought at full price.
What's funny is I don't normally play a first-person shooter with a controller, but I thought, well, I'll try it. I think it was half off. I'll try it for $30, and I really got into it. And the whole time I played, I got, decent with the controller for maybe a couple weeks. So I thought, I'm getting this on PC.
Oh yeah. That's definitely a PC game.
Yeah. It's way better on PC. And then in fact, then Xbox went last year and they shut down all their console exclusives they had in production. They had this Dragon game I was looking forward to. And I'm like, I'm done with this Xbox then.
Way to go, Xbox.
Exactly. I'm not a console player much. I do have a Switch, and I like it because I have a
Switch too, because that's more of like my handheld hybrid.
Exactly. You can take it anywhere. Yeah. I say I have a Switch. I had a Switch until my wife discovered that she liked Breath of the Wild, and then now my Switch has been residing in her possession for the last several months. But I got a PS4 solely for Bloodborne because I'm such a huge Dark Souls fan that I wanted to play Bloodborne when it came out, and it was a console exclusive. So PlayStation has managed to keep me in owning a PlayStation 4 for about a year now. I actually upgraded it to the PS4 Pro to play Monster Hunter. I really wanted to play Monster Hunter on a console. I've played Monster Hunter back on the handheld days, and I thought, man, if they ever make a full console version of this, it'll be awesome.
I'm going to have to wait for PC.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing it again on PC. I kind of reached that. It's got that MMO quality where
it does. As
you get toward the end, it exponentially gets harder.
It's not enough of an MMO for me to feel guilty about it.
Exactly. It scratches that itch without being the huge time sink that an MMO can be.
Plus, I feel like it kind of fits my whole, hey, this counts as simulation. I'm simulating hunting monsters.
It's got action and simulation, yeah. And, you have to, it's got some cerebral aspects to it. You have to, you can't just blindly go in and hack slash. You got to understand what you're doing, and you got to look at the monster strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. I think I'm finishing up For You right now on my 3DS.
Oh, okay. So you played a lot of it then.
I think I'm up to 60 hours in that game now.
Nice.
Yeah. Which, isn't a lot. It's not Bishiv level, but...
considering how much other stuff you've got going on, that's a good chunk of time, man. Trust me.
I did the initial 40 of it when I was younger and it first came out. But now I'm picking it back up.
Yeah, it can creep under your skin, can it?
It definitely can.
I took my wife and daughter out yesterday for dinner. We went and visited some family and then went out for dinner. And the place we ended up going because there was a crowd at the place we wanted to go. We ended up going to a place that's next door to a GameStop in a town over. And we walked into the GameStop after dinner. We're like, let's just go look. And there was a guy in there talking about his Switch was having a problem loading up.
No.
I happen to read a lot about gaming news and stuff. So I was giving him some advice about, hey, if you're going to send it to Nintendo, back up all of your games because I've heard these horror stories about them not doing that. Your save game stuff's gone. So use your SD card and back it up, or take your SD card out if you have one that has all your save games. But yesterday, March 3rd, was the 1 year anniversary of the Switch.
Hey, happy birthday, Switch.
Do you have, did you get one on launch day or how long did you wait?
I got one launch week. Okay. So what happened is my dad is retired Air Force, and we can go through the BX, which is their
base store or whatever.
Yeah, it's the bases exchange essentially. So with that, they had a bunch of Switches for launch week, and it wasn't really that hard to get one. So we ordered one online, and it takes a while for their shipping because they're not like Amazon with 2-day guaranteed pre-order shipping or whatever.
Right.
So I ended up, it was delivered that Wednesday, and I was off at college, and it was finals week because it was the week before spring break, which actually, it's exactly that right now. So I had to wait, knowing that it was at my parents' house all that week. And then I got home that Friday. So whatever this Friday is, essentially. Yeah, I got home like March 9th. And I was like, all right, where is it at? And my brother had already opened it. I'm like, no. Why did you open mine and yours? And I'm like, okay. So I took that. I opened it up. I was very much in awe. I popped in Breath of the Wild, and I think I played that and nothing but that for the next 6 hours.
Wow. That's such an easy game to lose 6 hours into.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the few games where I have been able to just get completely lost in the world. I then went back to my place for a couple days of spring break, popped it on the dock, and I think I played it from 8 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Whoa.
Nonstop.
Man, that's not healthy gaming right there.
No.
And I've never, ever done that. Wink, wink.
When you get lost in the world and you're like, oh, if I just do this one more quest.
You're playing and like what feels like 20 minutes goes by. You're like, man, why am I hungry again? Oh, it's been 8 hours since I've eaten.
Oh, yeah. That thing happened.
That's why I don't play World of Warcraft anymore, everyone.
Oof. Yeah, I can't do MMOs anymore. I had a very large portion of my life that was MMOs. It started with a small MMO known as Lego Universe. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
Oh, yeah. I never played it, but I saw it.
I was a beta tester for that at the age of 12.
Oh, my gosh.
And then I played that up until it was shut down. And I think I hit like 600 hours in that.
Oh, my God.
And then I was missing that for a while. I found Minecraft, which kind of filled that itch a little bit, but it didn't really fit that MMO portion.
Yeah.
And then on the Minecraft server I was on, because I was like 14 or 15 at this point, so Minecraft was still cool. They were like, hey, here's a game called Guild Wars 2. Yeah, that was a spiral that I played for 2 years.
Wow.
I think I ended up hitting around 500 or 600 hours in that as well.
That's not bad for 3 years.
I mean, yeah, I didn't have as much time as I did with Lego Universe, but I still grinded the crap out of that game. And then I just like, this has lost all appeal to me, and I haven't been able to touch an MMO since. It's
funny you say that about how it lost its appeal. I can remember back in 2004, some friends and I that are regulars on my channel, you might know Dama and Gorby. And
I've seen Gorby. I don't know that I've seen Dama.
Gotcha. We played MMOs together back in the day. We kind of hopped around, but we played one called Dark Age of Camelot in 2004, and then we jumped from that one to EverQuest 2, and then we ended up going to WoW. And man, it's so weird how it's all you want to do is play that game. When you're not playing, you're thinking about what am I going to do when I play that game, and then one day it's just gone. Like that desire to log in is gone, and like you get in out of habit, and you're looking around, you're like, I don't want to do any of this, and you're like, but I've got so much time invested, I got to keep going, and you wrestle with that for a while. And this has been MMO Addicts Recovery Anonymous with Crunky and Celiac.
Yeah, because that definitely hit me. I was like, okay, Guild Wars 2, what are you doing? I have to get how much gold? How many crafting materials, whatever, for the ultimate weapon. And then they just like immediately replaced those weapons as I was working towards it. And I'm like, no.
That carrot on the stick just broke.
Yeah. I'm like, you've led me on for long enough. It's time to say goodbye.
It's not me, Guild Wars 2. It's you. You've changed, man. You've changed.
They did change. They destroyed the main city, and I knew that city so well. And then they're like, oh, it's gone now. And I went back recently, and they had replaced it entirely. And I'm like, no. Oh, man. This is not happening.
You're making me feel old because you talk about Guild Wars 2 like it's really old. I played Guild Wars 1. I was a beta tester for it.
Oh, man.
Beta tester for Planet Side 1. I still have the beta discs. I was going to sell them on eBay as some kind of, like when Planet Side 2 came out, I'm like, oh, there'll be a lot of people nostalgic for Planet Side 1. I'm going to sell these. They're like going for like $5. I'm like, that's not worth going to the post office for.
That's a shame.
Well, man, I hate to wrap it up. We're having a great conversation, but we're coming in on an hour here, and I want to make sure that everyone knows how to reach out to you. As I mentioned before, he's at twitch.tv/CollegeOfCeliac, and just to make sure you get that spelling right, it's CELIAC. Are you also on Twitter?
I am on Twitter. It should be twitter.com/CollegeOfCeliac as well.
Okay, so I can just hit you up at College of Celiac.
Yeah.
And is your YouTube channel the same, or should I just put the link in the end of the episode?
My YouTube channel, I can't get a custom URL until I hit 100 subs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm 9 away from that.
9 away? Well, hopefully we can get you with that. If you guys are out there listening to this, go subscribe to his channel so he can get that custom URL, please.
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, I want to tell you that I appreciate you coming on here and talking to me about gaming, and definitely want to have you back. And we definitely got to play some Titanfall.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. It has been a lot of fun. Podcasts are cool.
Yeah, man. I hope you come back on again, okay?
Yeah, I would love to.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, you too.
Bye.